All right, what's good, everybody? It's DREAMR. So today we're checking out Ace Studio. It's this new AI vocal generator. It's pretty crazy from what I've seen. So basically the concept is you type in lyrics and write the melody in MIDI, and it spits back a vocal at you that's pretty accurate and low-key scary good. And they have a bunch of pre-made voices, different languages. Obviously, I'm gonna be using English because I make music mainly for a North American audience, but you could really do anything you want. I think the goal of this for me is gonna try to make like a Clams Casino type vocal chop beat and see where we can go from there. They also have a community tab where they have like a bunch of vocalists that you can kind of go through, and they already have samples made, which I find really interesting. So I'm gonna try some ideas, see what it spits back at me, and then let's see if we can make a beat. Okay guys, so I think what I'm eventually gonna do is do something simple to sample, but before I do that, I really wanna test out some of these features. So I've gone through like a bunch of singers, and Ira is my favorite out of all of them, but it is pretty crazy how they all sound really good. So I'm gonna play this MIDI I have from a piano I played in Logic and just brought it into here, and then we'll see how it sounds. I can already see it's kind of doing a bunch of vibrato stuff, which I think is based off velocity, which is kind of interesting. I'm not entirely sure, but let's play it and let's see what happens. So what I think I'm gonna do is type in some lyrics. So let's go I and C. See how that sounds?
I can't see.
I really like that. This dash means that it continues the word that you typed before. So I'm gonna go U, and then the dash will continue U.
I can't see you.
That's pretty crazy, to be honest. Okay, I'm liking what we have so far. I think I'm gonna make this any more. Do any here and then more going down. I think the numbers mean the syllables, so I might need to mess with those a little bit, but we'll find out.
I can't see you anymore.
That sounds pretty clean. I think what I want to do is mess with this pitch brush right here. You can see I've kind of drawn a little bit, but I kind of want to do a little bit more. So I like the glide it does here. I like the glide it does here. I'd maybe clean it up ever so slightly like this. That looks to be clean to me. And I'm gonna fix this one right here. Go a little bit more towards the middle. And then this goes down pretty well. So let's hear how it sounds now.
I can't see you anymore.
That is like ridiculously clean, to be honest. Kind of scary. This makes me think like what Splice is gonna be like soon and stuff like that. When you have things like this, that you're literally just creating a vocal and you're not even really have to do like a lot of effort whatsoever. Out of curiosity, I'm gonna go mess with this vibrato. I'm gonna turn this down over here. It's really crazy how all these, like they have all these different tools like vibrato modulation. It feels like to me, they took the idea of like a synth or a keyboard and just completely changed it into a vocal somehow. I'm gonna play it from over here and see how it sounds. It's like really clean. Let's go to modulation. Let's go, I had it originally like here. Let's maybe boost it like crazy to see what it sounds, and then we'll definitely dial it back. But I just really want to hear like how far you could push it. That's really crazy. I feel like once you start to boost that modulation, that's when you get a more like, let's say, authentic emotional feel. I think for me, that is just a little bit too much. So I'm gonna turn it down, maybe like there. Yeah, that's like scarily clean, to be honest. I'm gonna go with that vibrato, and I'm actually gonna see if I can boost it. Let's see, something like this maybe. Yeah, okay, so when you really mess with those vibrato and modulation tools, it really kind of changes the energy of the vocal. And then we also have these settings down here, which are quite interesting. So there's falsetto. I've pulled it down a little bit here, or up a little bit here, sorry, and way up over here, because this definitely changes the character of the vocal. So I'm gonna pull the falsetto down again, and you guys will see like right away that it makes such like a really big difference. So that's only a little bit of a boost, but I feel like I want it to be like up here, like something like super high that makes the vocal kind of change in like a more like real way. Yeah, like it's kind of scary good, I can't lie. Let's try the air one as well, and let's maybe see if we can push it up down here. I kind of want to make it so that as the vocal grows and it goes longer, it really like the energy starts to build, and it feels more natural, I think, because no real vocal would sit at one velocity the entire time, or like one type of vocal character. I really like that. So yeah, once you start to mess with these tools, it becomes like really crazy. Like you boost a little bit of air, add that falsetto in there, add a bit more tension, the energy, and then let's see the formant. I feel like I really like where it's sitting right now, but it's always good to test it out a little bit. Let's boost that right here and see how that sounds. Let's do something extreme, and I'm definitely gonna pull it way down, but it'll be interesting to hear. So yeah, it's a little bit too much for me, but actually I do like how it sounds though. It's still very believable. But I think in a realistic case, you would probably want to keep it like something down here. So as you can see right now, this is just all the stuff you can do with all these tools. And we haven't even tried other singers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, I'm going to put on some other singers. Let's just see how it sounds. And you would honestly pick the one that fits your track the most. I feel like this is something you do after you have a finished track. Maybe people would start with this. Like in my case, I'm going to start with something and then flip it. But I feel like in most cases, you would use this as like a production tool with something you've already made.
I can see you anymore.
So her vibrato is a little too much for me. I feel like Ira's was the best, but it's still interesting how they're all super high quality. Like none of these singers, you put a track on, and you're like, I don't know about this one. Like they're pretty damn believable. Let's go even like farther down the list. Let's go this Carolyn one. I feel like this might be like, she says it's opera choir, cinematic. Okay, this could maybe be cool, like a yeet beat or something. Who knows?
I can't see you anymore.
I feel like for vocalists like this, you definitely have to go with the pitch brush and kind of tweak it down, especially with that vibrato as well. But it's so crazy how each one you play is like extremely, extremely high quality. Like none of these stick out to me as being like unusable. So yeah, you can see how versatile this is, and it really only took us like 10 minutes to make something that's totally usable and pretty believable. I'm gonna show you the vocals that I made next that I'm gonna flip into a Clams Casino beat, so let's get into that section. So I started with the sub. I brought it over from Logic just because that's the bass line I wanna follow. And then I've generated a couple vocals that I'm gonna end up flipping into like a Clams Casino type thing. Okay, so here's our first vocal.
I can see.
I figured I'd start with more like simple phrases and then go from there. So I have that first one, and then it kind of gets more crazy as you go down the line. So then we have this one. So that's the second vocal I have. And then the third one gets a little more crazy, as I feel like this one kind of goes down nicely. You can see like the vibrato and everything changes slowly. And I feel like this is kind of the coolest one. And you'll see what I mean by like a Clams Casino type thing when I flip it. But I feel like just to start, it's like pretty crazy that this is even a thing. Okay, so now that we're in Logic, I took everything and pitched it up to F minor instead of E minor. I just like to write an E when I start, but what I'm gonna do now is I have all these flips. I'm gonna show you the original vocals and then show you how I flipped them. This is like the main original idea.
I can see.
And then what I did to get it to kind of that choppy feel is I've just taken it and gone like this. And then literally just duplicate it like classic, like ASAP Rocky type beat. So it's like, and just take like each different note from the vocal and kind of stack it together. So we have something like this. So it'd be like. So after all that, these are our chops with the sub. I'll show you them without effects, and I'll show you with all the effects. So here's with no effects, just dry. It's pitched pretty high, so it's gonna be kind of jarring, but trust me, when we flip it, it sounds really crazy. So that's what we have with no effects. Chorus is gonna be on there just to kind of tame some of those highs and make it a little bit cleaner. So after the chorus, I'm putting halftime on there. I have it on a half bar. And one thing I will give Ace Studio a lot of credit for is that if you were to put halftime on something that already sounded a bit like low fidelity and a bit too crunchy, it would really stand out, but it really is pretty good when you put the halftime on there. It still stays pretty clean. And then before the halftime, I have the M auto pitch plugin on here. Let's just change the format. I want tonally for it to feel a little bit higher, but I don't want the note to change. So that's why I messed with this format knob. And now we have something like this. And that sounds pretty crazy already. And then I have some sidechain with Shaper Box. And I feel like what really changes this and takes it to the next level is I added Valhalla shimmer. Which just sounds really insane. Like this is getting that Clowns Casino territory like very quickly. I think the craziest part is if you were to tell someone that this was AI, I think they'd have no idea, which is honestly a little bit frightening, but it just goes to show like kind of how good they've done like a job of making it sound authentic. So after we have the shimmer, we can go on to our next Believe Me vocal. Now I'm gonna show you with effects. So we have one of my Portal presets on here, one of my favorite ones, Boo. Has that really cool granular delay. And then I put EFX motions on there, because I really want it to slowly change. After that, I have OTT to really like slam it and crush it down. And then with that, I have Loop Raider, and this is kind of doing a lot actually. Like the Loop Raider really adds like so much sauce to this, I can't even lie. So I just use a default preset, and I really like these loop notes in Loop Raider. I feel like it's just so easy to chop stuff. Like you do it on the grid and then you do it in here, and you get that really crazy like chopped and screwed feel. Now when I bring that back with everything else, it sounds like super fire together, I can't lie. So here's everything all together. And now I'm gonna bring in our last vocal, so I'm gonna play the dry one again. So this is what it sounds like with just Portal and some reverb. So really high pitched, but I really like that granular delay on there. And then again, we use EFX motions. Very similar chain to the last one. And then OTT again, slam it down. And then what really changes this is this Deja Vu plugin by Cymatics. Now for this, it's basically another halftime. It's on a half bar as well. But I really like the smooth knob because it kind of cuts in and out of what you're doing. It doesn't make it like specifically stay on one. I'll show you what I mean. Like those little cuts in and out make a huge difference in the overall vibe of it, I think. And I just have an EQ like cleaning some stuff up. And then let me unsolo everything. And let me bring in this last vocal, which just says down. I believe I pitched this one down even more. So doing that, I have the same Portal preset on there, but I believe, yeah, Boo. And then I have OTT again. And then halftime is doing the same half bar. But for this one, I have Valhalla delay on it that pitches it down 12 semitones. And this is some crazy sauce if you don't really use this. I honestly only started using the pitch delay on this, and it's really fire. So let me play it without. So it sounds cool, but it kind of sounds like everything else we have going on. But then when I put this delay, which is down an octave, like that little follow-up it does, like where it delays it down, just really adds so much to the texture of the melody. Sounds super crazy. And then now that I've done that, I'm gonna add some guitar parts and kind of just finish the rest of the beat, and you'll see it's gonna turn into something really crazy. Now it's time to do some drums. One more like melodic element, I think. I'm gonna do another chop here, maybe. Let's find out. Let's stretch this out. And I'm gonna do the Valhalla pitch delay one more time. Let's try plus 12. It'll probably be too much, but I'll cut the highs a little bit. That's fire. I really like that crystally sound. And then for the verse, I'm just gonna do only vocals and just see how it sounds. To me, it's really insane how we turned like those few vocal clips into that beat. Like you can see all you need is like a really quality starter idea and you can really flip anything. All right, now pretty much all it needs is like an A$AP Rocky acapella or something. I'm gonna throw one on, but I don't want to get demonetized, so it won't be there for too long. But just so you guys can hear, pretty crazy, honestly. All right, so what are my thoughts on Ace Studio? Honestly, it is better than I thought it was gonna be, like way better than I thought it was gonna be, which is a little crazy, I said before, like a little scary, but I think that's just where everything's going. Like it is pretty insane to me that you can just type things and have a melody come back out at you that's like believable, because in the past, it definitely wasn't even close to believable. I think as a writing tool, this is like a really amazing thing, to be honest. Like I don't think it's ever gonna replace a vocalist, but I think if you're like a writer or a producer and you might not be a singer yourself or might not have a lot of people around you that are singers, or say you're writing music in a language that you don't speak yourself, this is actually a great tool, I think. And I don't know, it's like the result is pretty crazy. You heard the beat that we made before, like that has like Clancy A$AP Rocky vibes like to a T, and we didn't have to clear anything. And I think that's one of the biggest issues producers we face, is that we could use royalty-free stuff on Splice, or we could sample, but sampling, obviously, if you're in a label scenario, can get really difficult. I feel like this as a tool is just a kind of good solution to that. Obviously, it's not the be-all, end-all, but I think as a writing and production tool, it is really, really good. So yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts below. I mean, these are the times we're in. Kind of wild, but I really appreciate Ace Studio sending me this to try it out. If you want a discount on this product, there is a link in the description. You can use the code DREAMR. It's gonna give you guys a discount off Ace Studio. I really recommend trying it out if you guys like to make like vocal chop type stuff. It is super useful for that type of thing. But yeah, guys, I really appreciate you sticking around for the whole video. More videos to come. I just dropped a Kendrick one that I hope you guys really enjoyed as well. See you all in the next one. New Year's coming soon. Really excited to see what happens. Peace.